sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim. If this is your first time of coming across this channel, sweetheart, kindly smash that subscribe button and turn on your notification so you are notified each time I upload. And please give this video a thumb up. I appreciate you all so much, and I am saying a very big shout out to you all for the support and love you all give me here. You are super sweet. Thank you so much. So today we'll be talking something very important, and it's about this picture that has been circulating around the sunnies, I think, with the wife where what goes to die. I mean, she is wearing a jacket. I will put the picture up here so you see. Or moreover, when the video plays, you're also going to see it. A crocodile with where what goes to die. I know you all do not like black people from the onset. We know. We've been know long time ago. It is not hidden. It is not new. But waking up to see something like this says a whole lot. I mean, it's more like opening black people's wounds. And then people are going to sit back in their houses and in their couch and tell you, stop talking about it and it's going to go away. How is this going to go away with this thing that I am seeing? Do I need to tell you all, do I need to remind you all what they did to black kids, the ghetto bait, where they feed black kids to the alligators? Do I have to tell you all, do I have to remind you all how they steal black kids and use them as ghetto baits? And somebody got the nerves to wear something like this outside. What do they want to bring back? I mean, they want to bring back the life back in the day, like, you know, they want to bring it back. I know some are already here alive and like, you know, but what do they want to bring back? Because I do not understand it. Make this make sense. How a full grown up person is wearing something like this and walking around. And then if we talk, they say black people are violent. And who is the savage right now? Who is the savage? Stay with the screen. I'm rolling this clip. We'll come back to talk about it. Let me know what you all think in the comment section. So here we go.
So I'm sure you guys have probably seen this by now. This came out a little while ago, and I forgot to mention on it. Where woke goes to die with an alligator. Why is that controversial? Well, now we know DeSantis, the anti-woke, right? Pretty much anything that's not white. Trashes woke ideology, but yet says nothing about the actual Yahtzees that are growing more and more numbers down in Florida that are showing up all over the place protesting, especially in front of Disney World. It's very much against CRT, the way we teach black history, wants history taught a certain way, so forth. It's clear who this guy panders to, right? Okay, that being said, the reason why that vest is extremely offensive, if you know your history, they used to use black babies, and they refer to them as pickaninnies, as alligator bait. But you can Google that article. It has all the links to original newspapers and stuff. Like, for example, in 1923, Time magazine reported that colored babies were being used for alligator bait in Chipley, Florida. There was an article with the Miami New Times that showed that alligator hunters would sit crying black babies who were too young to walk at the water's edge with a rope around their necks and waists, and the babies would splash and cry until a crocodile came up and snapped one. In October 1919, Richmond Times Dispatch printed what appears to have been a joke titled "Game Protection." It read, "We understand the Florida authorities are going to prohibit the use of live pickaninnies as alligator bait." It wasn't just in Florida they were doing this kind of stuff. It was happening around the United States. For example, a Minnesota paper, 1922, the New Ulm Review, was talking about a preview of attractions at the Brown County Fair. In the section about fireworks, the article boasted that there will also be a big colored alligator pursuing a flame of pickaninny and many other beautiful designs. Nice. 1902, the St. Louis Republic described all the floats in the city's Veiled Prophet Parade, a secret society founded by a former Confederate soldier. The Veiled Prophet organization held a parade to tell the history of the Louisiana Purchase. Float number 15 was called the Plantation Life in Louisiana. It displayed a monstrous alligator swallowing a fat pickaninny. And they didn't just use them as alligator bait, they also fed them to the hogs at a Arthur G. Dozier Reform School down on the Florida Panhandle, and that happened as late as the 1950s. That particular facility was closed in 2011 because over the years there was a lack of supervision that enabled beatings, rapes, torture. You ever see that movie Sleepers? Yeah, except way worse. But don't worry, they said, we're sorry. Fascism always placates to the past. It's always an old tradition. Make America great again. The good old days. They use messaging, symbols. Anyone who knows history and understands what they're looking at, what they're saying, the language they use, and the framework they use it in is very easy to identify. If you don't know any of that stuff, seeing Mrs. DeSantis just wear that vest, you would think there's nothing wrong with that. But knowing who their primary base is, who they placate to, and what their policies are and how they speak, is quite clear what they're trying to say. Anyway, good talk. Where woke goes to die with an alligator. Why is that controversial?
Because they used to feed the slave babies to alligators. And if I walked up on this woman wearing this jacket, I'd slap the
As pickaninnies as alligator bait. But you can Google that article. It has.
So before I talk about anything, major trigger warning, because it's going to be a bad story. But he talks about in this video about how slaves and slaves' children used to be used as alligator bait. And down in Florida, they were doing it as late as 1923. But the reason I'm making this video is I get tons and tons of comments of people just telling me that white supremacism isn't real, it's not that serious, racism isn't that serious. I want you guys to know racism doesn't just go away, okay? That's someone's grandfather. You think that grandfather who's doing horrible things to black people didn't take his son along with him and teach him the same ideals that he believes in? If he didn't, racism would have just ended, right? There would be nothing to talk about. And now, no matter where you go in America, whether it's Florida or Jersey, okay, you're going to face racism. That's because of the spread of white supremacy and its ideals. But this is also one of the reasons Ron DeSantis wants to ban critical race theory. He doesn't want people knowing about that side of history. The U.S. has a very dark, disturbing past.
So, right now, today, we're going to talk briefly about yet another hidden tragedy in Black America. Black babies being used as alligator bait. Yes. Now, if you were to, say, go on the internet and put that into the search engine, you're going to find a variety of things, because a lot of you are going to say, that's not true, that didn't happen. Or, of course, others of you will say, well, why are you bringing that up? Well, for one thing, it's history. And people who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat that history. You see, it came out about 20 years ago that this had happened, but it had been buried. Now, alligator hunting was very, very profitable in the 1800s and the 1900s. The skins were used to make shoes, bags, belts, etc. Okay? However, these white hunters often lost their arms and sometimes their lives as they wrestled in the swamp water for those big bull alligators. Now, what they decided to do was use the black slave babies as bait. So what they would do is they would sneak into the slave quarters and steal the babies while the mothers were asleep. Or maybe, perhaps they went on an errand or went to the big house to tend to the master, and they had to leave the baby there. And they would hide in the bushes or hide wherever, and they would watch and they would wait. Then they would go and steal the baby from the mother. Anyway, what happened was, a lot of times, on occasions, they would skin that baby first before they use it as the alligator bait. So the hollering and crying baby would attract those big bull alligators that were very, very profitable. And of course, to them, worth far more than the life of the little black baby. Mostly, this was conducted mostly in the swamps of Louisiana and Florida throughout the South. It may make you sick beyond belief, but these are facts. They needed to lure the alligators with human flesh and blood. Now, a lot of these sick alligator hunting white men, they tied their necks with a string over the swamp and dangled them near the mouth of a hungry, like 700-pound alligator. Okay? And these black babies were sometimes put in a cage, and when the alligator came up, they were fed whole to them, and that way they would be able to catch hold of the alligator and wouldn't be able to get away. Now, a lot of this information can be found in the Jim Crow Museum, the racist memorabilia in Michigan. That's one place where they have it. Also, the New York Times, the Miami Times, in a 2014 article supported this information because it was buried. And it's been well documented since then because a lot of people have went and they looked up the information. And what's interesting about that is that what they did after that is they would put these exploits on postcards, and mail them across country. Pictures of little black babies. Of course, there were drawings and caricatures, but they made a joke out of it. And they mailed it around the country to their family and relatives. Pictures and stuff of little black babies being eaten or snuck up on or by alligators. And so all these postcards that you see from the memorabilia in museums and little collections, they are real. Okay, and then some advertisers even decided to use those pictures in their advertisements of other products such as licorice sticks, candy, and soap. All that. Now, this is a part of history. A distasteful, horrible, nasty, unimaginable, inhumane part of American history. And lest we forget, we're doomed to repeat history.
I talk about creepy, crazy, and covered up facts from American history, specifically related to black people and black oppression.
Did white hunters use black babies as alligator bait?
I think people are starting a very quick trajectory towards not caring or apathy or just forgetting about these things, and it'll take another really violent police killing for them to wake up again.
We must demand an entire investigation of the RPD by the Biden Department of Justice.
So what I don't think we're talking about enough right now is history. There's also a lot of legislation and policies and specific historical events that have also led to this situation that has led to specifically instances like George Floyd's killing or Daunte Wright's, where black people have put in these high poverty environments with over policing due to laws like crime bills and the war on drugs and the war on crime that happened post civil rights.
All right, so just looking at this picture on this woman's jacket, I am horrified. I am not gonna lie to you. And how, it is the nerves that she got to wear something like this out. Where work goes to die with Crocs at the back of the jacket. And I want to, you all know what happened when they used to feed black kids to Crocs, ghetto bait, right? Is this what they want to bring back? Is this the kind of thing they want to they like? Because of all things to put on the jacket, this is what they put. They want to go back to when they used to feed black kids to the ghetto, right? Because this is how I feel. This is what I say it at. Come to think of, like, Ron DeSantis and I think the wife, I mean, woke up to wear this kind of jacket out. I really do not know what happened to these people's mind, but I am telling you that these people are unbelievable. And that is how I feel. Because waking up to see something like this is more like opening up people's wounds. I mean, black people have really gone through a lot from you all, like all the horrible things you all did and still doing to this very moment. Of all things to put on the jacket, nothing more. I mean, they want to go back to when they used to feed black kids to the ghettos. They want to go back to when they used black kids as ghetto bait. And then come to think of it, I just sat back and I was thinking, like, how did these people wake up to feed kids, I mean human beings, to the ghetto? And then it dawned on me that it's just only a wicked person that could do something like this. Why did I say so? Because there are so many things they can use to get the ghetto out, if that is what they wanted to do. Like, you know, they wanted to, like, get the ghetto out. What happened to chicken? Using chicken. What happened to using cats? What happened to using dogs? They would rather treat their dogs better than human beings. Yeah. They did not see all those, but it was people's kids that they kept stealing. And then somebody is telling me to this very much, like, you know, somebody woke up to say that black history is violent. And all they want to do is just to erase black history. How do you erase somebody's foundation? And then I am at the same time thinking that the same people that want to erase black history are the ones that did all the horrible things in the history. And now they feel like this does not fit us. This does not fit like the kind of people we are. So how do we do it? We just have to wipe away the CRT. There is no need talking about critical race theory because it is against what we believe. What do you all believe from the start? First, what do you people believe in? You know, it is amazing how they really put, I don't know, but the media really did black people dirty. I am not gonna lie to you. The media did black people dirty. Because it is that same media that showed them and then give a different narrative of black people without knowing that they knew what they were doing, but they wanted to say the wrong thing to the world about black people. And now we are finding out the truth. We are knowing the truth. And we know how it all went down. And I am sitting here and asking myself, how are people this wicked? Because it is only a very mean person that could do something like this. And like the other man said, if you don't learn the history will repeat itself. Because they have already started wearing where work goes to die with Crocs. You never can tell. And I am trying to tell you all, if you live in Florida, you have to be very careful. If you live in Louisiana, you have to be very careful. That place is not suitable. It is not good for a black person. If you are going to Florida, be very careful. Because they have already issued advisory. Anybody going to that place, you really need to be very careful. Anything might happen to you. They do not like black people. And you all can see it. It is obvious. Because I don't see why somebody will have to wear something like this out. This is where I am going to draw the curtain and see you all in my next video. Bye for now.